Good evening, folks. Welcome to, I was about to say the Run and Gun Podcast. Oh my gosh, that's tomorrow night. Ugh. Welcome to the Rattler Roundup Podcast. I'm Jay Peeps, and tonight, the brainchild of this operation going forward, Bishop Bonnett. So, Bishop, what's going on, man?
Hey, how you doing, man? How y'all doing? Rattler Nation, how y'all doing today? Let's get into it. I'm ready to talk some athletics, man. Some FAMU athletics.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And before we get into it, I just want to share with them the logo of this podcast going forward. And also, Kevin Elliott will be on in a few. We're just going ahead and just starting. I'm sure he'll pop in a few minutes, of course. But yeah, so this is the logo for this show going forward. So Tuesday nights here. Oh, actually, you know what? There he is, right there. What's going on, man? Wait, well, let me fix it. What's going on, man?
I'm blessed, man. How you doing?
Hey,
doing good, man.
Good, man. I appreciate y'all having me on.
Of course, man. Sure. It's a pleasure to finally meet you, man. I was just showing them the intro, or not the intro. I was just showing them like the show logo going forward and everything. But yeah, man, it's a pleasure to finally meet you. Before we do get into it, I do have to, because you played with Leroy Van, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so funny story. So, a couple things actually. He played high school ball for my defensive coordinator in high school. We just didn't go to the same high school.
Okay.
And then like him, and I'm assuming you know Ryan Davis too, because you played against him in the Classic.
Mm-hmm.
He went to the same high school as Leroy Van as well. So this is like, I was gonna say, because like as we go on this evening, like I mean, I know we got topics we're gonna talk about, but I got some like questions and like trips down memory lane for you, because like I was like at that point like 8th grade going into high school and stuff, like when you and like all those guys were playing and everything. So like, I mean, I grew up with Quinn Gray as my quarterback, but like I do have a very fond memory of you guys, because y'all were, if there was ever a team that should have won a MEAC title, it was y'all.
Come on, man. Yeah, well, I'm definitely looking forward to these questions and these deep dives.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
I'm very happy to meet you, man. I've been a big fan since I stepped on campus, hearing all the great things about you, man. So it's great to finally meet you, dog, for real.
I appreciate that, brother. Likewise.
For sure. And I seen that you played for the city, too. So, hey,
Jacksonville,
man. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Jack Nation.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, because you did play for the Jaguars. I remember that. Because I was like, didn't he play for Buffalo, too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, that's where I remember. Because I was like, yeah, I remember he played for Buffalo, but I was like, dang, that's right, he did play for the Jags too. So yeah, man, dude, that's awesome, man.
Hey, my boy doing bigger and better things, man. He in that fashion now, man. That boy in the
fashion.
Sir. Hey, I see you doing your thing with that, dog.
I appreciate you, my boy. I appreciate you. That's a whole nother topic too. I think we can definitely dive into that. We can definitely dive into that.
Nice. So, first thing for tonight that we can talk about too, and obviously, also always, what's up, Ash, and what's up, Tasha? I'm gonna definitely hit on that too as well, like because we got the folks from Fang Exchange in here and everything too. Like they're looking to connect with both of you as well.
Okay.
As far as like the collective and everything that they do for FAMU athletics, so like I know for a fact they would love to partner with you. What's going on, Kylan? Where did you get those shoes? Oh, she wants to know where you got the shoes you had on for the Orange Blossom Classic.
I got those from Saxfield. Those were some off-whites that caught my eye one day when I felt like splurging.
Troy, what's going on, man? What's going on? And it's funny that I love the fact that Troy's in here, because that's actually a good way to kind of get into it. So Troy was sitting in on the interview today with Colsey, asking a couple of questions. And honestly, to be real with you, he asked the best questions of anybody in there. So this came up right here. And basically, like, okay, let me get the bottom line off for a second. So basically, like, it's all Gerald. So shout out to Gerald from Tallahassee Democrat. Because Colsey did a SWAC media conference today, basically talked about the Howard game. So as you see, tough loss. We gave them the opportunity to stick around. He said, guys are not necessarily upbeat. We know we let one slip, and we're trying to get ready for FAU. He also went on to say, as states, it'll be a challenge for sure, but going against FBS opponents, we've been down this road before. A lot of guys know that we got to be at our best. Wouldn't change any calls defensively, which respectfully so. If you hold anybody to 10 points, you should win. Offensively, get the ball into our playmakers. Guys who are going to put points on the board. And then he also said RJ Johnson will start against FAU. When we made the decision who the starting quarterback was going to be, we weren't going to have a quick trigger. So with that, I open the floor to
I don't understand.
Both of you.
We weren't going to have a quick trigger, so.
My apologies.
Oh, you're good. You're good. But yeah, I open the floor to you guys. What do y'all make of this, or honestly, I would love to know if KE, Bishop, how would Joe Taylor have handled it? How would Willie have handled it?
I'll let you go first, Kev.
Yeah, first game, first of all, it's a whole different dynamic now. I felt like back in when I was playing, most of the core players on the team were recruits. And, it was kind of recruit-led. And, we did have transfers, but everybody had to buy into the same system. So that's one of the things we talked about, or I talked to the kids about, the players about, is maintaining that standard, whether you're a transfer or you're a recruit. So, with that being said, there's always going to be that little gray area, or actually got to see how you are in the field of battle. In training camp, yeah, we've been going against each other for 2-3 weeks or a month, but, when the bullets start flying, I got to kind of feel you out and see who I have next to me, and I think we learned a lot about the team this past Saturday. And I agree with Cozy when, he says nothing upbeat. I was looking for that energy bug on the team when it was kind of sluggish to, just be hype on the sideline or run down on kickoff and just smack somebody and start yelling, something to get the team back jumping. I was looking for that kind of spark. And, we didn't see it this week. I'm hopefully, after a week of practice and, reflecting on the last game, we'll see it in this upcoming game versus FAU, which is a very winnable game as well.
Yeah. Go ahead, Bishop.
So my response to that is, I agree with everything KE was saying. During our time, we had a handful of transfers, but I didn't like the sluggishness of the offense or our special teams. I thought that our defense played with high tempo. We do need guys who are going to put points on the board. If I understand the way our defense played, if we can put 14 points up on the board, 17 points up on the board, I feel like we'll win a lot of games. And as far as the quick trigger, I get what he's saying with that. You don't want to put your quarterback in there and feel like if he mess up, he's going to get thrown out the game. But you do want that player to have a sense of, okay, if I am messing up, I know I am going to get put out of the game. So it's a fine line with that too at the same time. So I get him with that, but so.
And even with that quarterback situation, that's the backup's job. The backup should be preparing as if he's a starter. And if he's really on his stuff, he's going to push that starter because the starter knows he got everything down pat. Like if he gets in the game, he's going to ball. That's how it should be. That's the competitiveness that has to already be there within this football industry, especially if you're trying to go pro. You're going to have to have that kind of psyche as if I'm starting and you might be a long way from down in the depth chart. But you have to prepare like that, and because God forbid that your number's called and you're not ready.
Yeah. Because me personally, I was sitting up there, and again, as y'all know, if y'all follow this, if y'all have followed this page before, like I usually do pregame and then a postgame recap. Sure. I think the good Lord didn't want me to do a postgame recap Saturday night.
Yeah, I was pretty late Saturday.
Same. So I was like, you know what? Like, give it a couple hours. I was like, it's a good thing I'm doing 2 shows this week, Tuesday, Wednesday. Let's calm down the emotions. Let's not overreact too soon. So, me looking at it, I say this, again, there's a lot of potential on this team. I haven't given up yet. I do think they can turn it around. But again, it is winnable this weekend. Florida Atlantic didn't look great at all against Maryland. Looking at just the highlights and everything, they have a serious problem. Their quarterback reading that corner blitz coming off out of the nickel position, and I do think we need to see both quarterbacks this weekend. I do. Now, am I saying? Oh, go ahead.
In this game, why wouldn't you? In this game, for sure. For sure. This FAU, FBS game, I don't see why not. But then also to that, it's never, one thing I've learned in football, it's never as bad as it may seem, and it's never as good as it may seem. So, we don't have the coach's film to go back and really dissect and all that. So it may not be as bad as we are making it seem. So I just want to speak on that too at the same time.
Yeah, and Kevin, I think this is a response to what you stated about FAU, and Tasha agrees. Absolutely should be winnable. And then also Troy's absolutely 100% spot on here. That defense was flying around. Again, when you hold somebody to 10 points, and Kevin, I'm sure you've heard this too in the NFL. If you hold someone to 10 points, especially in the era when you played in the NFL, and then even in today's NFL, or even high school for that matter, you should win 9 times out of 10. Oh, he re-entered. Oh, wait, okay.
Y'all can see me, hear me?
Oh, hold on. Let me get this one out of here. There we go. That's better.
Okay, we good.
All right, wait. But Kevin, I was saying, in this era of, or even when you played and everything too, regardless of what level you guys may have played on, if you're a defense and you hold people to 10 points, 9 times out of 10, exactly. So that's where I was coming from with it.
But you're not going to hold every team to 10 points. You're going to find a high-powered offense that's going to score at least 20 points.
Yeah, and I know for a fact Joe Taylor will harp on all 3 phases. That's all he's going to say. Everybody has to complement each other. Special team has to complement offense. Offense has to complement defense. Defense has to complement everybody. So, in all aspects of it, that's ultimately what it came down to. I feel like special teams did well. Defense did great. We just need to score some more points, So, this week's going to be a great tell. I just want to see compete, man. Like we always say, compete to play, compete to stay. Compete to play, compete to stay. So these are the weeks right here when you're playing bigger teams, you should be getting excited because you got more eyeballs on you. This is time to get some good film against, some better competition and, really line it up and put it on the line, and get some quality film out of this.
Yes, sir. Most definitely. Go ahead, Bishop.
I don't know where you wanted to move at next, but I did wanted to just shout out that the guys' golf team had started a tournament today at the Bridgestone HBCU Invitational.
Nice.
Our girls' volleyball team, they're 1-2 right now. They swept Hampton, got a good sweep with the Hampton. We took UMass, I think that's University of. Hold on, let me click on it. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good, man. I had it written down as well too. Hold on one sec. I got you. Yeah. So as far as the girls goes, so they're actually heading into Atlanta this weekend for Georgia State's tournament. They'll face Evansville, Georgia State, and Queens College. They did land 4 girls on the SWAC preseason all-conference list. So libero or defensive specialist, you had Dylan Hoskins, the libero of the year. Outside right side hitter, Yanni Sanford. Setter, Mackenzie Taylor. Middle hitter / blocker.
Yanni Sanford be doing the thing, man. She been killing it. She got about 29 kills for the season. She definitely be doing her thing. So shout out to her.
Yeah. And then also middle hitter blocker Farah Farouk or Bakhouk. Gosh, I'm butchering names. Jeez, I feel so bad. But yeah, honestly, and that's actually one thing. Before I do get into asking questions for Kevin, I did want to ask this right here, because last year they played Nebraska in the NCAA tournament, and unfortunately got sent home. So pose this one for y'all. Is this the year FAMU volleyball gets an upset in the NCAA tournament?
I believe so. The coach has been there for a very long time. He has been building a very good program from what I can see. The volleyball team has always been very competitive, even since we've been in the MEAC. So I believe we can get one this year. I know that I think Alabama A&M has a very good team this year, so I know there'll be some good competition. But definitely looking forward to them winning the SWAC and bringing it home again.
Yeah. 57-7 since joining the conference in 2021.
Wow,
that's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that's how many coaches in any sport would kill to be 57-7. I know Kalen DeBoer would kill to be 57-7 right now.
So any Rattlers in the Atlanta area, please go out and support them. Starting September 5th, may not be able to make the September 5th game at 11 a.m. if you got to work, but you got September 5th at 6:30 p.m. Playing Georgia State, and then September 6th at 11 a.m. they will be playing Queens College. So we're looking forward to them to bring in a good 3-0 record home.
Yeah. All right. So okay, funny enough, Kylan actually posted this. Tasha said she'll be there.
All right.
Nice.
That's one thing about Rattler Nation, bro. They gonna show up for sure.
Oh, every time, man. Every time. Dude, Bishop, I don't know I don't think you were there yet, but I told Tasha and I told Ashley and a couple others this 2015 when the team was 1-15 under Alex Wood.
I was there.
Or not 1-15. It was they were 1-9 going into the Classic. Like, you talk about loyalty, dude. I sat in the rain, the pouring rain, in that Florida Classic.
Oh yeah, I knew the fan base was different that year because that was my freshman year. And like one thing about FAMU, even when we had Alex Woods, like the talent was there. Because when Simmons came in the next year, we basically had the same team and won way more games than we did the year before. So the talent has always been there. So, and then, but yeah, that year showed me that this FAMU is different. We still will go to a lot of away games and have more fans than the home team. So it's kind of it was. That's what I love about FAMU, and that's why this conversation and everything gets so hectic around football and everything. So I like it.
We had Orlando McKinley on, who actually he came back to FAMU about a year ago, 2 years ago, and he was telling me about the Alex Wood situation as well too. Like he was saying, Alex Wood, he was like, I have nothing disrespectful to say about him. He gave me an opportunity to play college football, but he was saying he doesn't think that he understood, what he walked into. Granted, you come from up north, you come into the South. Like you got to think about we're not in the SEC, but we live for football on Saturdays.
Yeah, we take football serious. And then it could also be a culture shock too, like. Just the type of players, the type of guys, the Florida guys are very different than other places. So just coming down here and being able to adjust to the type of player that you have. And that's very important to be able to commingle with your players and be able to understand them and where they come from. That's very important.
Yeah. Now, Kevin, for you, once again, I love that Kylan posted this in the chat. I want to go back to 2010. So on one end, down in Daytona, Brian Jenkins gets hired. He's overnight pretty much, which was crazy. He had built a juggernaut that nobody seemed to be able to beat. And of course, for you guys, South Carolina State had been your Achilles heel. They beat South Carolina State. And then obviously, this happens, he benched Martin Opie. He put Austin Trainer in. What was What was that like, that entire 2010 season? Because, I mean, again, we had overreaction. Well, the internet wasn't what it was back then, but, you know, we had overreaction. Y'all lost that first one to Miami. And then, of course, Bishop, you as well, like 2019, y'all lost that first one to UCF. Like, again, that was overreaction as well, too. But, you know, just, Kevin, tell me, you know, what was that like, that 2010 season?
2010 was rough, man. I think statistical-wise, that might have been my worst year as a receiver. But, you know, I think that's the year we learned a lot about each other, too. You know, the year we really came together and, you know, really started hanging out more off the field than we were on the field, you know, and really try to figure it out within the team, within the locker room. You know, we would kick the coaches out and have meetings, you know, self-governing, you know. So, yeah, there was surprisingly, you know, as a receiver, I was very disappointed, but I ended up, you know, excelling in special teams that year. I had a lot of special teams tackles, and you know that continued to be the spark to the team, you know, because kickoff is the first one on the field usually. So, you know, we really just leaned on each other, man. And whether it was Martin Upie out there or Austin Trainer, you know, we was going to try to find a way to make it work. I tell people this all the time. I haven't seen Upie in a while, but I know for a fact that Miami game traumatized that boy. Okay. He wasn't the same after that game. You know, you had Bailey running after you. You had some premier D-line, you know, grown men. These were grown men, you know. So I don't think he ever fully recovered from that. And luckily, you know, Trainer was hungry and was preparing like a starter. Let some people tell it he was just forcing me the ball, but you know, whatever we had to do, we made it work. You know, we had to rely on our run game. You know, we had a great defense and a great special teams as well. So that year was a freaking complete roller coaster, bro. One of the roughest years, you know, I think my time at FAMU, but that's where the character was built right there. That's why we still have a group chat and we talk to each other every day right now to this day. You know,
nice.
Times like that.
So tell me about that 2010 Florida Classic, like because I mean, obviously everybody had heard, you know, Bethune coming in like, oh, these guys can't be beat. Oh, you know, they're undefeated. You know, they're gonna do this to FAMU. They're gonna do that. Like, because I remember I went to the Battle of the Bands Friday night, and Bethune's announcer at the time, and they even put a video up on the board saying what they were gonna do to y'all the next day, and I'm just like, all right, we're gonna see. We're gonna see. So, you know, just, you know, talk about that game in particular.
Yeah, I wish y'all would have heard some of the conversations going on in the locker room that day. You know, brothers expressing to themselves that they'll die for each other, that I'm going to die for you out there on that field today. You know, I don't care about nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to lay my body on the line for you today. It was a lot of those speeches going on that day. And I think that's the year they went in and came out in those black uniforms, you know, trying to, you know, a little intimidation and all that. So we took all of that personal, every single bit of it. And the way that game unfolded, especially that last play, Phil ran down that field and they tried to call it back and cheat us. You know, we took all that personal, but if you actually look at that play, it's so much. When we talk about everybody doing their 111th, everybody was doing their 111th and more. You know, they was doing their job and making sure we went over top just for run plays. So when we had a whole team buying in like that, receivers selling out for safety, backside safety chase downs, you know, to make this a 60-yard run instead of a 30-yard run. When you get to that kind of level of, you know, Marquise Ramos set the tone, man.
Dude, I remember that. You talk about a whole sideline and stands that went crazy.
Come on, man. It was a sight to see, bro.
The big hits. He'll do it.
He broke that man's collarbone. I remember that.
Listen, it was real. It was like that. And, you know, I got in a fight every classic, you know. So whether it was, you know, I'll pick and choose the right time for it. You know, when I feel like things getting a little soft, I need to send a message. But Coach Taylor knew that, and I always had a pass for that, you know, because he knew what I was doing. So you might not admit it, but I had won a game. You know, I had one personal foul a game, and that's just a energy check. You know, let them know what kind of game this is going to be. You know, so we really leaned into that game, especially knowing what we had on the line, and we chasing that. You know, they running on that high horse. That's when don't listen to nothing outside this locker room came in. Don't listen to none of the outside noise. You know, if it ain't in this locker room, F them, pretty much. And, you know, that's the mindset we went in there. And then once the speeches started flowing, tears started flowing, and everybody expressing, you know, how they finna lay it on the line for each other, that's what y'all saw on the field.
That is wonderful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. See, that's – I hate to compare. See, that's something that I think – and, again, I think they'll be fine, but that's something that needs to be said to this team. And it should be shared with every team, quite honestly.
I talked to them Friday at dinner, and that was one of my – main points. It's like y'all got to come together, bro. If you really want to win, you're going to take offense for your quarterback getting touched. It's going to mean something to you.
Yeah.
You know,
it's
and
like, it's like what Jimmy Johnson said in that Cowboys doc. He said, because of regarding the Bounty Bowl, you know, he said, I don't care what happens, you don't let them touch Troy Aikman. You know, he said, I don't care if you got to kick him down south, or if you got to punch him in the face, or if you got to just drag him to the ground, you don't let them touch Troy Aikman. Yeah. So I understand, man. That's real.
It's definitely a pride thing. Football is all about a pride thing, man. You gotta take pride in what you do.
For sure. I was gonna say, Bishop, you got any questions for him?
Nah, not. I just want to start getting into what are you guys' synopsis of the entire game of the OBC?
Go ahead, Kevin.
Of our past game this weekend?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Overall, just coming together. Again, I stated it again. Training camp is training camp. You know, when the bullets start to fly, you really got to learn who you got on your team. So, you know, coach has actually afforded me to have a leadership committee within the team, and we meet every Sunday. And that was our main thing. That was one of our main points, was going to figure out what's the players next to you's why. Why are you here? Why are you playing? Because if you hear their why, then it's going to make sense why he does what he does on the field. You know, if he got 2 kids at the house or he's trying to take care of mama, he's going to go a lot harder than somebody who's going to go to college, whether they got a football scholarship or not. You know, so we kind of need to know that when we're trying to figure out the core of this team, and y'all the leaders, so this has to trickle down from y'all. It's self-governing. Only thing we're, you know, with the leadership that we're doing is just setting the curriculum and having it passed down through the leaders of the team. You know, so right now it's me, Philip Sylvester, and Ronald Black Jackson, who's a great mentor, great educational leader when it comes to behavior. He has all his degrees and certifications. Who's doing great things out in Oakland right now. So, you know, I thought that would be a no-brainer to add him to the team and us lead these young men.
That's what's up, bro.
That's nice, man. That's nice. As far as like my synopsis, my takeaway from the game, you know, I was utterly impressed with what I saw on defense. I think this defense, again, if y'all haven't seen the show yet, you know, we talk about a lot of numbers here, but I also try to keep it honest. Last year, this defense was, you know, 50th in the FCS. I look at it now, and based off what I saw, you know, and again, I know other teams are going to watch the tape. They're going to make their adjustments. They're going to do what they do. FAMU will watch the tape. You know, Kenwick Thompson will make his adjustments and do what he needs to do. But I do think this defense has the potential to be a top 15 unit this season.
No, for sure.
At minimum. You know, will they get back to being like a top 5 defense like they were in 23? I don't know yet. But again, you know, it's a long season. As y'all know, it's a long season. Anything can happen. But I do think top 15 is attainable. I would like to see, you know, a little bit more creativity, you know, within special teams. You know, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was like year. I think like, I don't know if Coach Simmons tried to do like reverses and stuff like on kickoff returns. I know he pulled a fake the year after you in 21 and 22. He pulled a fake punt in the Florida Classic. So I mean, I would like to see a little bit more creativity, but at the right moment.
I got it.
And can I say something to that?
Go ahead.
You know, Leroy Van's first year when he started booming, I was actually on that kickoff return team. A lot of starters was me, Alfonso Walker, DJ Folsom. You know, it was a lot of starters on that special teams, and we took pride in simple stuff and actually I just need to get L7 past me. If I get him past me, I know he's gone. So, you know, however that looks moving forward for this team, we told them too, like, we need some starters on there. You know, we need somebody who you have to be a crash out for your teammate, pretty much. You know, so, and if you're not on that, don't get on the special teams, because that's a whole different dynamic of game changing. That's how you get Desmond Howard. That's how you get College Game Day on FAMU's campus, is when all two sides are clicking like that. You know, so they definitely have the potential. You know, I like 18 back there. He got something to him, and Uno back there. So they just got to care. That's the to be in is front line on kick return. Trust me, I did it my whole rookie year in the league. It's terrible, but if you actually care about the guy back there and you know he got potential, you're gonna throw your body in front of him for 3 seconds. That's all it is. It's really 6 seconds of pain, but you're only gonna block for 3 seconds. He's gonna be by you, you know. So they just gotta, you know, get that kind of mindset in when it comes to that special teams.
And being on special teams make you more valuable to NFL teams.
Yes.
I made it.
Yes.
7 receivers fighting for 2 spots. 4 of them are millionaires. One of them is a trade from Dallas Cowboys, Laurent Robinson. So you really got 7 people fighting for 2 spots. One is going to play receiver. The other one's going to be on practice squad. You better be playing special teams, fellas. And that was in my speech in dinner, too. If y'all got any aspirations, if you're not going first round, you're going to play special teams. So you might as well like it and get used to it now.
I love how this is coming full circle, because I swear every year when we talk about the draft on this page, we always say, especially like, and I hate to say it only for the HBCU guys, but you know, really anybody that's not first round, like you said, the best way to make a team is special teams, whether it's covering punts, covering kicks, you know, returning them, blocking for them, anything like that. I'm glad you said that.
5% technique, 95% effort.
This is a good comment here. Yeah, look at Xavier.
Look at Bell. Look at all them boys. That's your way on. That is your way on. And I don't care if you're a transfer. You in the transfer portal and you got a couple guys ahead of you. You want a jersey number this year? Go hard on special teams. I guarantee you. And then once you're on special teams, you're one play away from being on offense. Literally. You know, but the mindset has to change. You know, that's the difference between a lot of the guys that come from the CFL as well. Their premier receivers up there get to the league and get a league shot, ain't never played special teams. You know, I don't care if you did have 2,000 yards in Canada. You coming down to the league, you the 7th receiver on the depth chart. You running down on kickoff. You on kick return, you on punt return, you on punt. You know, so it's a big disconnect. You know, go look at Deontay Spencer. Smooth transition. Receiver in the CFL, returner, went straight to the league, punt returner. Stuck around 3-4 years.
Spencer. I'm going to check him out.
McNeese, he just went in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, you know, it's a lot of examples like that, you know?
Yeah. So now, you know, it's funny you speak of Leroy Van, and so I want to go back because honestly, I thought like coming out of Blake, he should have been returning kicks from the get-go, but I don't know. Like Coach Taylor saw something in him that, you know, Reuben Carter didn't see, and I sit there and I'm like, he had a lot of good talent because Joe Taylor basically took his talent because that was your freshman year in 08.
Recruited us. Reuben Carter recruited us. So me, Philly Phil, Q Hall, Curtis Holcomb, Kendrick Washington, Marquise Ramos, Alfonso Walker, DJ Folsom, they recruited that class.
Wow. Yes, yeah. I didn't know that.
Then we didn't get the play well. Phil, Kier Hall, and Holcomb played early. And then they left the next year, and Taylor came in.
Wow, I didn't know that. But yeah, so like, that 08 team, like, what was that like? Because like that 07 season, like that was a bad year. And again, that was the end of Reuben Carter. But like going into 08, like what was that like? Because y'all started with a SWAC team.
That 08 year was fast, man. It's almost a blur. I just remember not really learning the playbook my freshman year, and I redshirted and I just ran track that year. And just to share a backstory with y'all, when Reuben Carter recruited me, he said if I pay for my first semester, they'll cover my second half, and he ended up losing his job. So I was literally at FAMU my freshman year paying for school. So Joe Taylor was the one who gave me my first full scholarship at FAMU. And that meant a lot to me. In that year, just to have a coach to believe in you, and not only that, to make you a young captain and leader of the team as well. So I held that wholeheartedly, and but circling between Eddie Battle, and just all the blocking for freaking Philip Sylvester, man, it was amazing. It was a lot of aggression let out. We really played for each other back then. I think it was just a lot going on, y'all. All right, it was a lot going on off the scenes. Everybody's adjusting. We pretty much all in, y'all. So it's like I couldn't imagine having NILs back then. It would have been ugly, y'all.
So what was your favorite moment at FAM on and off the field?
Favorite moment at FAM? One is beating South Carolina State, getting that 10 streak off our back. Oh man, the Southern game. When we went to Southern, I think this final score was 56, 53, 56, 52.
Yeah, it was
that was a shootout.
I caught a touchdown, threw a touchdown, and had a big hit on kickoff as well. But that game was so back and forth. The band, actually, the Marching 100 came out there. So, we had
that was
in our band. It was legendary. That was probably one of the best moments outside of winning the championship, beating Bethune when they was on their high horse. It's always good. Doing that. But that game right there is pivotal as far as that Southern game, because that was the game we was like primetime TV. We was a wrecking on all. I think everybody scored. So on all levels, we knew we was. We came back with a little different swagger after that game.
I never played at Jackson, but I played at Southern. Well, Southern definitely got top 5 atmosphere games.
Yeah. Sure. Top 5, my boy. Imagine the score 56, 50, 54. Back and forth.
It was somebody that I think like they follow our page. They went to school with you. I forget their name, but they were saying like, every time FAMU goes to Southern, they would say you can't leave it in the referee's hand, because at that time it was like, MEAC versus SWAC. And, plus it's like, it's Florida versus Louisiana. Like they just say like, you got to take it from them. Cause I thought about it. I was like, you know what? Like every time Southern comes to Tallahassee, they get beaten thoroughly. But when FAMU goes up there, it's always a high scoring dogfight. And I'm like, why is that? But then I think about it and I'm like, yeah, like, you and that team, y'all had to score 50, even a lot of those older teams that came before you, like they had to go up there and score 50. So I'm like, yeah, it makes sense, because when they come down here.
Yeah. And even in Atlanta Classic, we whooped them unless they had SWAC refs. It was a little closer. But, just imagine that first Atlanta Classic when Curtis Pulley finally emerged. The excitement behind that was ridiculous, because he's been doing it in practice. Most lackadaisical athlete I ever met in my life, y'all. And he just wake up and he just a walking 400-yard game, 200-yard rushing game. 4
Wait, you said most lackadaisical athlete?
Lackadaisical. He goes to sleep right before we go out there. He's taking a nap. Smooth, chilling, cool, calm, and collective, fella. How he sit, all in that pocket, that's his demeanor, for the most part. But gamer, complete gamer, man, complete gamer, and not taking nothing from my dog EB. I love EB, and they was splitting reps. We was doing good with both of them. Once Pulley took off, it was like,
yeah.
This is why he was Mr. Kentucky. It made sense.
Which is interesting, when you do speak of quarterback battles and everything like that, because I always know, like, the starter and the second string always have a good relationship with each other because, basically you guys got to help each other prepare that Sunday through Friday to get ready to play on Saturday.
Yeah.
So, like.
And you definitely want your my bad, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, you're good. You're good. Go ahead.
You definitely want your backup quarterback to be looking at the field too. So when the starting quarterback comes off, he can definitely point out things that he probably didn't see. So that having a great relationship with a backup quarterback is very important for sure.
Mm-hmm. So now my next question for both of you is, for Kevin, for you, like, what was that like with the QB battle? Well, QB battles between I guess for you, the second would be later in the year, but like that first one between Eddie Battle and Curtis Pulley, and then like again having the same situation, I guess 2 or 3 times between Opie and Austin Trainer, and then again with Trainer and Damian Fleming, and then for Bishop, what was that like? That 2021 Orange Blossom Classic, seeing the switch between Rashawn McKay and then Junior Muratovich, and then going back to Rashawn McKay. So whichever one of y'all wants to start first with that one.
Yeah, bro.
So that year, it wasn't, you can say it was a competition, but everybody kind of knew it was McKay's job to lose because he was sat behind Ryan Stanley for 3 years. So he knew the system. It was just his time to prove that he is the guy. And unfortunately, his first game, he didn't show it. So Junior stepped in, and I think that kind of calmed his nerves. And Norm McKay, he is a guy that works and wants to get better. So Norm, seeing him come out the game and still be a leader to Junior at the time, telling him like, hey, bro, you still want to make this play, you want to make this read. We knew that when his time was going to come back again, he was going to be good. So that next week, I think Junior ended up playing bad, and then McKay stepped back in, and the rest was history. McKay had a hell of a season.
Yeah, because I remember Alabama A&M game, because I was at that time I was beginning to question. I was like, can he throw a deep ball? But then like he launched one to I think Shareed, and lo and behold, I was like, okay, so he can throw a deep ball. He can sling it too. Okay. Because I
like
he had to come
through too is he got that swag. Like that's one thing you want to look for in a quarterback. He had that swag to him too. So that rubbed off on the offense as well. So
yeah, for sure. And just between all of those battles, it's just you got to build a rapport with all of them. Sure. They all throw different. They all like different routes to throw. They like, some of them are throw further or throw hard. Some don't have a gauge on how they throw. Some want to see you wide open before they throw. It's a difference. So I think out of all the quarterbacks, me and Pulley spent the most time with each other, right around in that red Focus with no tent, right around Tallahassee. But, so it was a lot of unspoken things we did on the field. He'll just give me a glance and it's like, hey, I'm coming to you. Or, when I hear the play call, I already know he probably asked coach to call that play for this reason. So it was a lot of things, just as far as the chemistry, with me and Pulley, that was just supernatural. And he's an anticipation thrower. He's going to throw it before you open. Martin Opie, my thing with him, he wanted to see you open and still might not throw you the ball. I have a newspaper clip right now looking at me, and I'm open, and he still didn't throw that. But that's a whole nother story, Trainer was just a super competitive, super hard worker, played tight end, played quarterback. Really just had a super cannon of an arm. And he did what he's supposed to do. And then Fleming came in with that young, Quentin Gray coaching, and he had a lot of the same attributes as Pulley, as far as when you watch him in the pocket and his flicker release as the ball, beautiful thrower, and that right there was a little. That was I think that was tougher for Austin, because he felt like he had the job at that point. But at the end of the day, man, we got to win.
Yeah.
I had to learn that later on. It's like, I got to, because now me on the other side, if I'm a coach and I'm playing this player, my job is up for grabs now if we losing these games. So I need to put in and put us in the best win, So, seeing it from this side, it makes sense. But it's all in all, it's competition, and I made sure I spent my time with the quarterbacks, with every single one, because I wanted the ball. Every receiver wants the football, so you got to understand what your quarterback is thinking so you can be on the same page as him.
Right.
And one thing I did, I like that you say, is knowing your quarterback, because I was with Ryan Stanley for damn near like 2-3 years. So, and then me and Ryan Stanley hung out a lot. So it was kind of like, and he knew the offense out the back of his hand. So a lot of times I didn't have to say anything. He would check coverages himself. He would do all the things. But when McKay came in, I was a senior, and I kind of knew the offense like the back of my hand. I was a third down back. McKay knew the offense, but it would be sometimes where I tell him something, and he'll make the play call. And then with Junior, just knowing that he was a young guy, anytime he'll come in, I just let him know, hey, bro, like, I got your back. Like, all right. I'm gonna help you out. If you got anything, ask me. You feel me? Like, just knowing which quarterback you got and knowing how to communicate with him. So yeah, I definitely feel you on that.
So now, Kevin, I told you I was going to go down memory lane with you. So like, as far as like that wide receiver core that you played with, because I have to ask, like, because I thought he was coming back in 2011. Whatever happened with TJ Lawrence after 2010? Because I was confused, because I had seen him in some like press clippings and stuff, like even all the way down here in Tampa. I had seen him in press clippings, and I was like, oh, like they're coming back again. Like that right there, like, because I'm saying to myself, like, okay, 2010's over. Bethune's going to get better. We need some firepower on this offense. Six needs to be back in orange and green in 2011. I don't know how. I don't know if he has any more eligibility. But I was just wondering, like, what happened to him after 2010?
Man, listen, if you find out, please let me know. We was all surprised. The whole understanding that Six was coming back. And, we was going to have Linworth Lennon. We was going to have Travis Harvey. We was going to have Brian Timms, me, so Six was a big part of that. I really don't know. He popped up, he disappeared, and he popped back up like probably about 6 years ago, y'all. I'm not even kidding with y'all. Really almost fell off the face of the earth. But, we did a good job of, reaching out to our brothers that we haven't been in contact with and start bringing them together. But that situation was all weird to me. Him coming into FAMU, it was definitely a difference for him adapting to our culture. He tried to bring some stuff from UF that we not rocking with. Just don't do that here, buying into the culture was pretty easy for him. Him and Adrian Smith, went to the same school. I think Kathleen was. But super high recruit, he was just get the ball in his hands type. And it didn't look like he was running fast, but he was covering ground. And he definitely molded, right in the group, like, instantaneously and perfectly, honestly. That was a great core right there. Great core.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, y'all were nice. Like, I don't know what y'all had called y'all stuff, because I know like Bishop played with the Rack Boys 2.0, and then like before you, there was the Rack Boys. So I mean, I don't know what y'all's nickname was, but I mean, y'all were just as nice.
Yeah, we was the playmakers, and we used to compete for pancakes too. That's the difference. You know, we actually like blocking. We competed for pancakes. So, you know, it wasn't just out there just standing in front of the DB. Nah, you better strap your chin strap up. It's gonna be a long game.
That's what's up, bro.
Yeah,
for real.
You know, Coach Jerry really installed that in us. He saw how angry we was as a receiving core, you know, as it pertains to, you know, me and Brian Timms at that time being the leaders of that chaos. And, you know, it just came from the passion and the standard of being in that receiver room. You know, that was part of the grades, you know, not getting pancakes or loafing on run plays. I think that played a huge part in, you know, our running back success, you know, throughout our career. And it helped me in the pros. You know, that was one of the first things the GM brought up to me from Jacksonville. He was like, man, I'm watching film and you just took somebody from the sideline to the Gatorade coolers. This was versus North Carolina A&T. And I told him, I said, if you go back a play before that, he spit in our tight end's face, Mike Etheridge. Mike wanted to go get him. He was hysterical. And then they gave me that, you know, they sent we sent the little hit. You know, coach called his run play, and that's when he ended up in the Gatorade coolers, you know. So just stuff like that, you know, we really had that kind of bond. Okay, you want to face? If he do this, it's going to be a bad penalty against the team. Let me get you within the play, you know. So we really had that chip on our shoulder. And to that, Brian Timms came out of nowhere, man. Y'all, that's somebody y'all need to get on this show. The story is absolutely amazing. All right. And what he's doing now is even more amazing. He just, you know, completed law school, taking his test for the bar right now. But he has an amazing story. He did come out of nowhere, literally, you know. But I would love for y'all to hear that from, you know, the horse's mouth. But
Brian.
There's any way. Brian Tim. It's I'll bring it up right here for you, Bishop. It's right here. This is how you spell his name. But yeah, honestly, I would love to hear from him, dude. You know, I'd love to hear from if anybody in the chat even has anybody that played ball that they know of.
Please.
For like bring them on. It doesn't even have to be football. If it was basketball, baseball, bring them on because, like, you know, I love stories like these and stuff because, again, you know, growing up, like, I watched you guys, like, again, and I have no shame in telling my story. I played for Richard Batman Wood at Tampa Catholic. I chose to walk away from football because of the injuries I sustained. In the back of my mind, I gave some thought, like, you know, maybe I'll go walk on and try to play at FAMU or even a Florida State, maybe. But, you know, I chose not to. I mean, in the end, I went and got my doctorate degree, so I'm doing pretty good myself, I feel like. Thank you, man. Thank you. But, you know, I mean, honestly, like, I tried to, you know, growing up and even like going into high school, I tried to style my game as a receiver after Kevin Elliott. I used to, you know, kind of style my game a little bit after a return man like a Leroy Van and everything. Yeah, because like I like even 8th grade, everybody'd be like, why do you run so fast through the end zone instead of just stopping in the end zone? I'm like, well, in my mind, I'm like, well, shit, Leroy Van used to run it back like that every time. Because it's like you're all the way out of the play. Can't nobody touch you at that point. But yeah, man, like that. Because again, I was watching y'all, especially in 08. I was watching y'all more than I was watching Florida. Because I thought y'all were it. I mean, Florida had Percy, they had Rainey and Demps, but I thought y'all were it, to be honest with you.
You felt like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, what y'all may not have seen, you know, especially when it pertains to Leroy Van finishing in the back of the end zone. I used to try to, you know, I catch punts in practice but never in the game. But the standard was if you catch the ball, you got to finish in the end zone every time. So that way it becomes natural. So we Van crib these kicks and punts all summer, all training camp. Every time he catch the ball, he's catching it wherever it's at and going to the back of the end zone every time. So, you know, that's kind of where it became second nature to him. You know, it was just catch the ball and run into the end zone. And, you know, he had a heck of a year, brought Desmond Howard to FAMU for ESPN special. You know, between, you know, our offense, defense, and special teams, we was able to have Lee Corso on the campus. Y'all should fact check this. We should be the first HBCU to have done that, right?
You are. Yep. FAMU is the first HBC to like host on-campus college game day.
Yeah, and we whooped
like
that week too. That Saturday. So it
was
that's what happens when all those three phases click like that.
Yeah, and the thing is like they chose y'all like I think the same weekend because I've watched that clip over and over again. People think I'm crazy because I know all these crazy facts, but it was like they could have gone anywhere else that weekend. They could have gone to Starkville, or no, not Starkville. They could have gone to Tuscaloosa to go see Alabama and Mississippi State. They could have gone to Gainesville that weekend to, go see Florida and Spurs return to the Swamp that weekend. Like, I wish I could have been in Tallahassee. I woke up 2 days, not 2 days. I woke up 2 hours early just to catch that because I didn't want to miss it. Yes, I was there. It rained earlier that day.
So how was
Mr. Campbell?
How was your transition coming from FAMU into the league?
Man, that was the speed of the game. The verbiage of the offense. As far as adjustments, mid-play adjustments. Me reading the defense as I'm running the route. Me seeing the sight adjust if two linebackers come off this edge, I got to replace. And being on the same page as the quarterback. When it pertains to that. In Kershaw's offense, if we calling 4-in 9-1-0, which is a curl flat, that's what we running. I don't care if they yelling it. They got to stop it. That was our motto. They got to stop it. So, I think, the playbook wise, having all the audibles in and, actually playing with my head up was a big adjustment for me. But, football is football at the end of the day. Once I put pads on, it was, it was just going. The speed of the game is completely different. You see some of the biggest players in your life. You've never seen this big and running this fast, this athletic. So just that adjustment and, kind of getting the deer out the headlights, look out your eyes as an adjustment, because, leading up to my professional career, I never attended an NFL football game before. So my first NFL game was the one I played in versus the Giants, and they had just won the Super Bowl. So I'm looking at Eli Manning in Jacksonville like, bro, he just won the Super Bowl. Those kind of experiences, I don't take for granted. Running down on kickoff and trying to tackle Percy Harvin and seeing what that speed is like in real life, and noticing, just the different nuances of the game. Just another story. I had to block freaking Jared Allen, DN for the Minnesota Vikings. My very first play in Jacksonville. They lined me up in the backfield, had me motion and try to crack this man. Run off me, made the tackle, and called me a little. And that's when I was like, okay, this NFL is different, boy. This is different. And I, still to this day, I don't think the coach put me in the best position. But the job had to try to get done as best of my ability. But those certain things, it's all an adjustment for me. That whole year was a complete, just a dream to reality moment for me. I tried to bask in the moment as much as I could.
And then how was it different in Canada and than being in the league?
Man, Canada rekindled that flame, man. Canada rekindled that fun. I tell people all the time, I ain't had that much fun since I played at FAM when I went to Canada. I was coming off an ACL tear, everything. I was coming off my best training camp ever as a player with the Bills that year, and then I ended up tearing my ACL versus the Vikings. And just going through that, that ups and downs, and not making the team that next year with Buffalo, but that's how God worked. All right. So my agent told me, I said, the only way I go play in Canada is if I play in Toronto. HBCU All-Star game, the Toronto OC was my coach. So once he saw me, not in the NFL, they claimed my rights, and I ended up going to Toronto and playing, and prolonging my career out there. But listen, I tell people all the time, you want to get paid doing the sports you love and prolong your career, go to Canada, man. You get paid money to travel to every city in the nation, and you get to play football and get paid a lot more than a lot of other people do. And it's some people take it and use it as a stepping stone to try to get back to the league, but you can actually build a career up there, and that's what I did on the tail end of my career.
Now I was gonna say, now the the way they style it is a little different up there, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
I think like isn't like the goalposts at the front of the end zone? Yeah, like
it's cheating. 20-yard end zone, bro. First of all, I get a head start, and I got a 20-yard end zone, so I could literally run a double move in the end zone. Yeah, it was fun. It was a great time to be alive, man. And we had a lot of fun up there. I made a lot of great connections that I'm still benefiting from to this day. Toronto's my second home. My son was born up there. He has dual citizenship.
Okay.
So I have roots up there,
So then how was it putting your cleats up? How did was it a decision you made? Was it forced? And then just the whole process of just like being done with football and then going on to the next thing.
It's a great question, my boy. And when I mentor and I advise these kids, this is something I tell them to start thinking about now. The number one question I had to ask myself was, who am I outside of this sport? A sport that I dedicated 27 years of my life to. And that's the darkest answer. That's the darkest time I've ever been in. So, during that time, the reason why what prompted my retirement, the vaccines that came out, and CFL was like, oh, if you don't get vaccinated, you can't be around the team. Your family can't come see you. Oh,
so this recent. So like
yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, so I didn't know that. Wow.
I didn't get vaccinated. So, that was I was already on the contract. I was already getting paid during the pandemic. So, I told them, I said, okay, I'll wait till, I'll wait this year out. But at that same time, my son was just starting school. I wasn't really feeling the way they was trying to treat me because I didn't want to get it. And, I felt like at that point, my knee was already bothering me a little bit. And I wanted to save some space for my son, for me to run around with my son and have some time to, continue to be healthy enough to be available for him. So that was my ultimate decision on hanging it up. Now, was I prepared for what happened? No, not at all. Just the quietness of it.
Yeah.
So what did I do? I started doing research on meditation and yoga, and through that journey of me going from a football player to where I'm at now, I call it reinventing myself. So I reinvented myself multiple times at this point in my life. You can no longer just say Kevin Elliott, the football player. You have to say Kevin, the mentor. You have to say Kevin Elliott, the certified yoga instructor. You have to say Kevin Elliott, the certified sound healer. You have to say Kevin Elliott, the certified international runway model. You have to say Kevin Elliott, the CEO of the Mushroom Coffee Company. So I've reinvented my ways, and to the point to where, I'm no longer nervous about being uncomfortable, out here in the non-football world, as you would say. Even crazier, once you get out, you got all this energy, you ready to go work, and then you put in that work day, and you don't have no experience.
Yeah.
A lot of the companies want to hire you because of your team and leadership mindset. You don't have the experience, so LinkedIn wasn't popping, everything wasn't going how you think it's going to go once you transition. So it's a lot of figuring out. But, now the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing, why I'm building this wellness package, is because I'm in the position now I'm pulling my teammates back through that dark with me, because I'm in the light now. I did a lot of inner work, a lot of inner healing, peeling back layers of why I do the things I do, what triggers me, why is that a trigger, asking my parents questions about how they grew up. Just a lot of inner work that it took for me to get to this point now, to the point to where I'm getting my master's degree right now in public health.
Wonderful.
And I'm getting in with a concentration of natural and alternative medicine, so it's a whole wellness package, that I'm kind of building. And not to mention, I've lost pretty much 6 teammates since, I retired from the NFL. Most recently being Jacoby Jones and Vontae Davis. We work every offseason, so they around my age, so that prompted me, to kind of take this healthy route that I'm on right now. I'm pushing up on 3 years, no meat as well, all plant-based. So, I'm just trying to be the walking example before I start, pulling people And the whole thing with the master is just to get the paper behind it. So it hits different when you got that paper.
And I like what you said as far as that darkness at the end when you're done playing football. Because when I got done playing, I actually didn't do my pro day or anything. Like I just decided not to do my pro day. One of my main factors, I had a kid at the time, 5. Well, I do got a kid. She was 5 at the time. And I was in college the whole time she was a juvenile as a kid. And then we had the HBCU pro day. I mean, the HBCU Legacy Bowl. I ended up like getting a big contusion in my leg. And it was like a couple weeks before pro day. And I was just like, man, do I honestly want to keep dealing with football and just keep going through these injuries? Because it wasn't a point in time in college where I didn't go through an injury. And I always had to sit out a game. But it was one thing my senior year was I was going to play the full season. I played the full season, but I did still end up getting hurt. I sprung my MCL in my knee. But I ended up getting back in the game, the same game I sprung my MCL. But so I was just like, man, do I want to keep doing this? And then I want to be a light for players who don't play football, who don't make it, and let you know, like, bro, it's something you can do outside of football. You can make a lot of money outside of football. And one of my biggest things is some of the richest people in this world right now are not athletic at all.
Facts.
Never played a down of football in their life. Facts. So I definitely would like to you feel me, keep in contact with you on that, on your mentorship program, man. Yeah, you may be on your own with the plant, boy. I ain't going plant.
Yeah. I get it all the time, then I invite you to the house and make you that mushroom steak, and you might have to spend
man. Go ahead. No. Go ahead, Bishop.
And then one thing I was gonna ask you, how long after retirement did it take you to be able to watch football, be around the game, and just be around the game?
I never left it.
Okay.
I never left. You ask any of my homies when I first started coaching, one of my best friends got the head coaching job at Wellington down here in Palm Beach. When I tell you I'm out there every practice in my cleats, doing scout team quarterback, returning punts, returning kicks, just running around like a little kid. I still got it in me. I still have the energy in me. The doctor advised me, now with my knee being bone on bone, just to kind of chill out. But, I'm hard-headed. But I say that to say I've never left it. Even when I'm training the kids that I've trained, I do a high school program every summer. I sent 7 kids to college this past summer.
That's wonderful.
I appreciate you. But, when I'm teaching them and I'm out there training them in this hot sun, I'm running the routes with them still. I still have it in me. I still have it. I still have that jitter and that that energy in me. I just find smarter ways to disperse it now. I didn't coach this year. I didn't want to be tied to one school. I like bouncing around to certain players that I'm training and going to check in on them and, bouncing out. But, the main thing I tell the parents, my job is to get your son's college paid for, all that is extra, let me develop him and put him in position to get his college paid for, because high school coaches don't take the time to develop these kids now.
No, they don't.
Big gap. And I'm talking about to the simplest form. I'm talking about verbiage. I'm talking about looking the recruiter in the eye and shaking his hand firmly and having 3 questions waiting on him when he walks in the room to talk to you. Simple stuff, you know. Body language that I see on film. They're looking at all of that. So, that's what I just been trying to. I built the program around that and just been, developing these kids, and that's where my touchdowns are now. When they text me and be like, "Coach, man, remember that drill we worked on? Man, I'm sending you the film right now. It worked." And I'm like, "I know it worked. Yeah, I ain't gonna tell you nothing. I ain't gonna steer you wrong." But it's when they get the realization themselves, those are my touchdowns now. It's like, okay, I see what coach is talking about. So that's what I've been doing on the football side.
Yeah, that's wonderful, man. That's wonderful to hear, man. It's like, and again, I'll piggyback off of Bishop's question too. It's like when you do leave the game, and I will say again, it was just high school, but it was like I had a teammate that played at Stetson that was telling me, he was like, yeah, man, when you do stop playing for a little while, it's going to be a little awkward because you're going to feel like you have something you need to go do or you got to be somewhere by a certain time. And then like, he's like, that lasts for about 2 weeks. Some people maybe longer, but then you kind of just realize like, now it's like, okay, like it's over now. Again, like, still able to watch for the love of the game. That's part of the reason why, I started this up and everything. That's a huge part of the reason why, I agreed with Bishop to do this. That's a huge reason why, even tomorrow night, like me and Ace, he didn't play ball, but I mean, he loves basketball. But again, that's why we do this page. We do this channel, that's because it's just, again, love of the game, the love of athletics and everything. So, and again, I genuinely, truly enjoy, hearing stories like this, hearing your story. I would love to get Brian Timms on and hear his story. We had Quinn Gray on in the middle of the pandemic. We spoke with him. That was before he got the job at Albany State. That's when he was still at, I believe, Lincoln High School in Tallahassee. So, all sports, Kylan. Yeah, because some people look at us crazy because, I mean, this is the only page that's, Black owned and talks about NASCAR. But yeah, so but again, I appreciate this deeply. Again, Kevin, you coming on. I love what you're doing, man. That's wonderful.
I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate the opportunity, man. Y'all doing some dope work too, bro. I think it's important. Just keep it authentic, keep it transparent.
All right, so now we speaking of transparent. We ain't talk about this game like I want to, man. Hey. RJ, my boy, if you're watching, we need you to play better. I'm not into bashing kids. I'm not saying you're a bad quarterback. You're a talented kid. You got to Toledo. You got to D1. But if coach gonna ride with you the way he is, boy, you got to play better, dog.
Yes.
That's just simple facts. And if he keep doing what he's doing, Cozy, you got to put the other guy. We got to see something else.
Jet.
It's just as simple as that. I don't care if it's jet blue, jet green, somebody. We recruited
F-16
3-4 quarterbacks, bro. We recorded 3-4 quarterbacks. And like I say, the team played well, but I think we have the talent. I like the quarterback. The receiver number 1. I like 7, the guy who just came from Illinois. I like the tight ends. But my guy, you guys to play better. And the only reason why we say that is because you come from a long history of good quarterbacks. Okay?
Yes.
That's one thing you can't get over on us. Is a good quarterback. You know what a good quarterback looks like. So we just want you to play better, man. We doing this because we love the school. Like,
yes.
And then for everybody out there, please, bro, please give back to that FAMU exchange, bro. Like we need to be getting this collective going. We need to be getting everyone. I want to eventually, hopefully, if we can, get this thing big enough to where eventually everyone in athletics is getting some type of NIL deal from the collective that we have. I know we start small now, but 5 years from now, who's to say that we can't make that happen? And so yeah, I really feel like we can make that happen. And just the first episode, bro. We're just gonna keep getting better, keep going up. Great to have a FAMU legend on. Appreciate you coming, bro. And so and what y'all taste? What y'all want to see next week? Like as far as next week, I need to see some improvement on that offense, bro. Like. Just want to see some kind of improvement, like, and then I feel like my biggest thing was he was eyeing his receivers down a lot.
I need to stop. Don't do that.
So I feel like he eyed his receivers down a lot that game. Maybe it was just his first game and it was the nerves. That it happens, bro. Like first games, like I said, McKay played bad the first game. And he came back and had a hell of a season, bro. So I'm not saying that you're not going to have a hell of a season. But, my guy, we want you to play better, and we need you to play better.
We're gonna learn a lot about the team. That's the best part about it. Every week we strap up, we learn about the team. If he a true competitor, he gonna be ready and willing to put in the work to play better next week. So film don't lie. We're gonna see.
Yeah, we're gonna see.
You need my boy, hey, on the equipment guys, man. Hook my boy up with some sauce, man. My boy was looking stank out there.
Yeah. Me and Nate had that conversation earlier this morning.
My boy was looking stank out there now. Come on. Hey.
Man.
Hey, we need get the swag. Hey, get the swag, my boy. Hey, get comfortable back there now. Come on now. Get comfortable. Hey.
Dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree. You know, honestly, from an offensive perspective, I would love to see him, you know, just, you know, go through his reads and progressions. Yeah, exactly.
Show everybody why they put you at QB1.
Exactly.
That's just as simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say this too. Put the names on the back of the jerseys again. That's a huge one.
Yeah, coming back from last year, seeing and then not being a transfer heavy team, we don't know who guys is from because it weren't the same guys as last year. So yeah, I definitely feel on that.
Yeah. Now, I will say also too. One other thing, speaking of, because you mentioned the collective, I know Tasha and Ashley are in the comment section still, and we'll have them on next week as well as part of Fang Exchange. You know, again, Kevin, Bishop, I know y'all obviously know guys like. Okay, that good, awesome. So the names on the back of the jersey are on the way. But yeah, you know, I know Tasha and Ashley in the comment section, but yeah, Kevin, Bishop. I know y'all have multiple teammates and stuff too. Again, Tasha and Ashley would love to partner with these people as far as, you know, the collective and, you know, establishing something for Fang Exchange to where, you know, these athletes can start getting name, image, and likeness deals and everything. So, you know, again, Thursday night, they do their show as well. So, and I've been on there a couple times. I know that we also did like a preseason preview, all of us FAMU podcast and everything earlier in the season as well. But, you know, again, they would love to reach out to you guys as well and talk with you guys about setting something up for you guys, you know. So, and even if it's not just football, basketball players, if y'all know any basketball players, if y'all know any volleyball players, softball players, track runners that y'all were with, you know, get in touch with them because, you know, they already have it set up. I am not the NIL guy. I've spoken with them about that. I've spoken with Bishop about that. Just because, again, personally, I don't want to get caught up with all that. I understand it's important in this day and age of college ball. But I was going to say, Fang Exchange is definitely, you know, the fast lane to getting that taken care of and everything. Yes. Yeah, and that's the other thing too. Y'all are all welcome to, you know, all of these FAMU family of shows. You got Fangs Up Podcast, you got Fang Exchange, you have ONG Strike Zone, you've got us here at Penalty Talk. Of course, so you know, we're starting this every Tuesday night, you know, Rattler Roundup Podcast. Wednesday nights, you know, Run and Gun Podcast. And I agree. I'd love to hear from Patrick Scott. I would.
He's in our group chat too.
Yeah, hey, you know, tell him, come on, man. We'd love to have him on here as well too. So, you know, and if he can't make it on Tuesday night, come on Wednesday night. We'd love to chop it up with him, talk a little NFL ball with him, college ball and everything too. So, you know, Nasir Kaur, I do not remember that name.
Yeah, he played basketball.
Okay.
Yeah, he doing his thing right now in the 101 space. He was just on the Big 3 team.
Oh,
he just made the Big 3. Yeah, he was doing his thing in the Big 3 for sure.
Yes, I mean, yeah. Hey, you know, that's another one. You know, get these guys on, bring them up. What about starting to? You know, I was going to ask about that this evening, and I was going to also save that for Saturday too. You know, I do remember big Cam Donald. He was in a walking boot Saturday in the second half. So I was wondering what had happened to him. I'm hoping he's okay and it's not anything serious and he can return soon. All I know is, again, y'all know better than I do. If you're in a walking boot, you know, I don't think you're playing this week. Maybe in a couple weeks.
In a while, yeah. If y'all had to take a offense and defensive MVP, who would y'all give it to?
Kevin, you go first. You down on the field.
It can be it doesn't have to be a Pacific.
Yeah, can I give it to the O-line?
Yeah, that was mine too.
Yeah, I give it to the O-line. And I like Five's energy out there on defense. You know, I'm biased with my number, but you know, it's a trend, you know, that whoever be having that 5 on, you know, it's been a standard, especially on defense with Bell and the boys. So I love his energy out there. I'm gonna have to look to him to be that Energizer Bunny I was talking about earlier.
All right.
Yeah. For me, as far as people, so who stood out to me. So I agree. You know, offensive line for me, definitely. Justice Cross is the one that wears 5 on. He's the Murray State transfer. He's number 5. That's one that I would say. Special teams wise, you know, Daniel Porto from Holy Cross, the transfer. He basically, you know, he would have been 4 for 4 had the one kick not been blocked, but you know, made all 3 kicks that got off. So I was very impressed with how he performed. Looking forward to him continuing to grow as a kicker. You need to be money personally from, you know, in this day and age, 50 getting off the bus. That right there puts a psychological advantage for your team over anybody else. So yeah, I'd say those 3 are my players of the game that I took away from Saturday.
Mine would be the offensive line. I got to give the whole defense a shout out for the defense. The whole defense played well, except for the last drive. Got to finish well, but defense played out of their minds. I like the pick that we got over there in the corner. That pick was very nice.
That was Amari Lee.
Yes, that pick was very nice. And then special teams wise, yeah, I'll have to give it to the kicker. I'd like to see some more. I'd like to see some more touchbacks. I don't know if it's the same kicker doing the kickoffs doing the same or doing the field goals, but I would like to see some more touchbacks for sure.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and check on that. Also,
Appreciate
Will,
you, my
this
man.
isn't.
Hey, Kevin got to hop off. Appreciate you, my man.
Oh yeah, appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir, man. I appreciate y'all time. Hey, anytime y'all want me back, just ring my number. Y'all got it.
Yes, sir.
Definitely.
All right, good one, man.
All right, fellas. Bless up.
All right.
Yes, sir. No, oh wait, let me fix this real quick. Now I will say one other thing. Where'd it go? Oh, here we go. Will's right. You know, this is another one I'd love to have one here too in the future. He played for Billy Joe back in the day. I think he still lives in Tallahassee because his son Landon Doherty. I think what was it? I forget what high school he's at. Oh my goodness. I think it's Godby. He's at Godby now, I believe. He's another one that I think could be a good one for us. He's like a 6'3" quarterback. But yeah, Ben Doherty. Yeah, that's another because Ben Doherty he has a Florida Classic record for passing touchdowns. He has I think the record's 6. So I mean, if there's a quarterback out there that's gonna break it, you know, you're gonna have to throw 7.
So I know I talked to Ryan today. I think we can get Ryan on next week as well. Ryan Stanley on next week.
Okay, yeah, sure. I'm down for him. You know, like I said, we got Fang Exchange coming on here too next week, so you know we can definitely make it happen.
All right,
be a good time. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that Landon Doherty kid, yeah, he is a beast.
So we sure got to get him on her. All right.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, and yes, that is true too. Yeah, FAMU did offer him as well because I think Simmons offered him. I'm not sure, before Simmons had left to go to Duke, he did offer Landon. So, yeah. But yeah, man, this was a good discussion tonight, man. I had fun doing this. This was awesome, man.
I had fun too. Good hour, 30 minutes of productive. Good.
Yeah. But yeah. Bishop, we got anything else before we wrap up?
Each and every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Just a start. Please get the word out. Trying to make this thing big, man. We're trying to just make this more than a podcast. We're definitely going to partner up, do some things with the Fang Exchange, and try to get this thing going, bro, and try to get FAMU back to the top. stay at the top for a very long time. Don't think you guys know the importance of the FAMU exchange. Just being able to get $50 a month, $100 a month as a student athlete is very important. I know as a FAMU alumni, we like to talk a big mess, and we like to, say we this, that, and the third, but we got to put the money where our mouth is too. Not when only this an emergency, like when Coach Willie Simmons was about to leave, and we just came up with all that money at the overnight. So if we can come up with that money overnight, I know we can definitely come up with the money to support these student athletes and keep putting on for FAMU, because that's the most important thing. Keeping these guys on campus, and because they're gonna love FAMU for sure. Like, it's gonna be hard for them to want to transfer out just because of the love for FAMU, but sometimes love don't fix all things. So
yeah. But yeah, man, we appreciate y'all. Yeah, big facts. Oh, wait, hold on. Here's another one. Someone said Demetrius Powell, linebacker, 2021 team.
I think you know that is.
But yeah, we appreciate y'all joining us this evening, folks. Be sure to tune in tomorrow as well. Run and Gun Podcast will be back on. Me and Ace, of course. Well, me, Ace, and Mr. Sasser will all be on. Basically, talking ball and going through the weekend ahead. Giving game picks. NFL starts back this weekend. Get your parlays in order if you are that type of person. Give back first through FAMU Exchange and for these student athletes. But after you get back, then do your parlay. Or you hit your parlay, then get back.
What you think? You think we got what you think the final score is for this weekend?
Oh. You want me to be nice, or do you want me to be honest? Or do you want both?
I want you to be honest.
I'm gonna go 45-10. Florida Atlantic wins, but it's gonna be like a hard-earned 45.
Okay. I just got to see that first drive, but if I had to go for us, I'll go 38-17.
That's respectable. If
I ain't gonna say that. I go 38-17.
That's fair. Well, all right, folks. This has been a good one. We thank you so much for joining us. We're gonna get out of here. But again, be sure to join us again Tuesday night. Next Tuesday, be sure to join us again tomorrow night, Run and Gun Podcast. And then, of course, Saturday, countdown to kickoff at 5 p.m. Or I need to go back and check what time that Florida. No, what time does that game start? 6 p.m. I believe it's 6 p.m.
This weekend?
Yeah, I believe it's 6 p.m. I have to go back and double check. I've had my hands full all day today.
Oh yeah. So, and again, like I said, today the golf team played in the Bridgestone HBCU Invitational. Hopefully them guys did good. September 5th through the 6th, the FAMU volleyball team would be at I think it's Georgia State Invitational.
Yep.
And then September 6th, we got 6 p.m. Florida A&M.
Okay. Yeah. I see your tweet. Yeah. A little more. Okay. All right. Yeah. So countdown to kickoff will start at 5 p.m. Kickoffs at 6. So make sure you're tuned in and ready to roll. So with that being said, folks, take care, stay safe, stay blessed. We will see you.
Y'all up here doing that SID job.
Hey, look,
man, somebody got to do it, dog. Hey, bro. Hey. I work in construction, man. We just got to get the job done, man.
Hey, there you go. All right, folks. Y'all take care. Y'all stay safe. Stay blessed. Ash, I agree with you. We'll see you tomorrow night. Remember, strike, and strike again.